Expect to see you and other authorities here, maybe riding the Orange Line, you know.
Probably not riding the Orange Line. Yeah. When every one of these projects that I just talked about, I was on and at. Okay, I fully expect that I'll be spending time reviewing the projects and following the progress that's being made on this thing. The point I was trying to make in my remarks is this is not the first time in the past 7 years that the MBTA has done very big and very significant work on its infrastructure. 35,000 feet of track on the Green Line across multiple projects, some of which involved shutting down the D line, the B line, and the E line for weeks at a time, have been going on for years. And I think in this particular case, our view was, and Steve should come back and talk a little bit about how this works. It's not like they're going to start at this end or start at that end and just work their way down it. They're literally going to set up 4 sites across the system where you're not going to have to take the gear off and on every 2 or 3 days or every 24 hours. Once they're there, they're there. And that's a big part of what makes it possible to do so much work over such a short period of time, because you're not sacrificing what would otherwise be productive time you could be spending doing the work, getting your gear onto and off of the tracks. And I think the likelihood, get back to the earlier question of getting this done on time, is going to be driven in large part by the fact that they are going to have 24-hour access to these sites.
What's going to be done to make sure that you have enough buses for people? It just sounds like it's going to be an awful thing that we're all going to experience for 30 days between discouraging cars coming in from the city, these buses, and they could break down, things could happen. So that's why I was asking if you would, periodically ride the Orange Line yourself, or maybe some of the other officials to see for yourself what commuters are actually going.
I think you can expect that to occur, but we won't be riding the Orange Line. More likely be on the commuter rail or on the bus system.
Governor, respectfully, with the projects that you were outlining in the beginning and the project that you're outlining now, the difference between this one and those is that this is quite obviously an emergency shutdown. Yasha is the only one who used the term emergency. And you won't classify this as an emergency shutdown. Why not?
I think this is a far more significant shutdown than many of the shutdowns we've planned before. But remember, we shut down Oak Grove to Sullivan, which is a big part of the Orange Line north of the city of Boston, for several weeks.
But that wasn't an emergency. The FTA didn't come in and say, you have significant problems here, fix it, right?
We took this project to the FTA and said, this is something we would like to do to deal with a number of the issues we have with respect to track.
The FTA is the one who came in and did the inspection. You didn't invite them in.
No, the FTA definitely came on their own, but the idea to do this project came from the T.
But the FTA said you need to fix this.
This was on our list. I mean, we were going to do the work anyway, just as we've been doing work for years.
Say you have to fix this corroded rail and take care of these speed restrictions on the Orange Line. That's what I'm trying to.
I wouldn't put it like that, but I'll let Steve answer that.
Saying as a gift to riders, saying that the riders want this, we want to give you a safe T. But it's the FTA who came in and said you need to fix some severe safety problems.
The work that's, first of all, there was no asset management system, and I've said this before to you all. Let me finish. Karen, let me finish. There was no asset management system when we took office. We built one. And when we built the asset management system, one of the things we learned was the long list of work that needed to be done on the tracks, on the power systems, on the electric systems, on the stations, the system. And we have gradually been doing it for 7 years. I mean, we've done hundreds of millions of dollars worth of work on the commuter rail and billions of dollars of work on the rapid transit system and a ton of work on the bus system as well over that period of time. Many of these projects, and I said this many times to you guys, there's a friction that exists between how much time we get to spend on the tracks doing work and how much time we spend off the tracks because of the issues around service disruption. And many of these projects are constantly being debated back and forth with respect to how hard does the T want to push on the issue around disruption in exchange for an opportunity to do the work that's associated with this plan that needs to get done. The work that's been identified for this project is on the asset management system of the MBTA. Okay? The decision to go a lot faster on it is certainly one that was discussed with the FTA, as it should have been. But I don't think it's fair to say that the MBTA didn't know about this. They did. It's their asset management system. They're the ones that built it. They're the ones that have been implementing against it. But the chance to do a lot of this work much more quickly is absolutely, I think, look, we get the fact that the next 30 days are going to be difficult. But if the T can truly deliver 5 years worth of night and weekend work on the system overall, that's going to be a real benefit, yes, down the road to riders. And I also think some of the stuff Boston's doing here with bus lanes. Look, we've been pushing communities on bus lanes for 4 or 5 years, and we've had modest progress with additional bus lanes. This is a great opportunity for the city to test some additional possible routes for bus lanes, which could have real big benefit on a permanent basis down the road as well.
Governor, do you think that T is going to pull this off 5.5 years worth of work in a month? Are you confident this will get done? It's a 24/7 effort?
Well, the thing that makes me most confident about it is having been onto a lot of the sites where they do the weekend stuff and the overnight stuff and seeing how long it takes to set it up and take it down. And if you're spending half the time you're working on a particular site, getting onto it and getting off it, not having to get on and get off it, but to literally just be able to stay there and not lose all that productivity to the time that's associated with on and off, it creates a huge benefit. So I am actually pretty confident that this work can get done.
Last question. Is there any sort of consequence to not getting it done? Is there any accountability if it doesn't finish in 30 days, or does it just extend?
We're going to try and get it done, and people are going to spend a lot of time paying a lot of attention to what's going on over the course of that 30-day period.